Mother, man.
All right, everybody, this is Matt from Human Artifacts, and you're listening to Murder, Metal, Mayhem. Horns up and keep it thick.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder, Metal, Mayhem! This is Pete Altieri and Joey Cashman with the Murder, Metal, Mayhem podcast, and we've got the privilege of doing this interview with Matt Bishop, the vocalist and guitarist of Human Artifacts, formerly the frontman of Lividity. How's things going up there in Milwaukee, the Cream City, these days, Matt? How's it going?
Hey, Pete. Hey, Cashman. How you guys doing, buddy? It's pretty nice up here. It's actually, I think we're almost 45, 50 degrees, so it's unusual for this time of year.
Nice, nice. And Joey, you're over there in Toledo in the 419. How's everything over there?
Same. Just fucking awesome weather out today, so fucking I was stoked to have it off and be able to join you with this interview with Matt.
Nice. You're representing Ohio with that embalmer shirt on too, dude.
Yeah, I do have the Ohio represent and the 419 hat, so I'm full on Ohio. Fuck Illinois, I guess, these days.
Matt's got his CIM shirt on, man, bringing back some memories there. We're going to talk about that, of course, Matt. And I got my Benediction shirt on. I love this shirt. CK's got his Metal Blade Records shirt on back there, CCK. So,
hey, may he rest in peace, man. Fucking CK.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Let's get it going, Joey.
All right. So thanks again, Matt, for doing this interview with us here at Murder, Metal, Mayhem. Cool. It's always cool, like, doing one with somebody that you know in real life, too. You know, makes it a little more fun. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure. So right off the bat, man, I'm just going to I want to hear what's up with this new Human Artifacts album that's getting released this year. I want to know what label's releasing it. Around how many tracks are you looking at, and do you think is there any reissue or re-recordings of older Human Artifact songs on it?
Oh, well, okay. That's a quite the 5-point question.
It is. He gets a gold star for that one.
Yeah. The first thing is we do have a new album coming out. It'll be on Severed Records. Later this year. We don't really. The cool thing about Barrett is he has never forced us. Considering we actually signed this contract, a lot of people don't realize in 2008.
Oh wow, yeah.
So we signed this contract in 2008 after after the Comatose deal was up for the first album, and then we were like, oh crap, we even had the cover then. So everything is actually everything is actually back from 2008.
Oh wow.
You know, none of the songs, actually survived that we actually had written for that, we have riffs here and there that we cannibalized. But you're looking at 9 new songs and then a cover for a fallen brother. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
We do have a title for the album, which we're not going to announce yet, but we do have a title for it. We're going to do... We have some plans. If everything goes as planned, we're going to hopefully be dropping something fairly over the next few months just to kind of get people knowing that it's coming. Just because, like Joey, like me and Pete were talking earlier a little bit beforehand, there's your full-time musicians and your hobbyists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It just takes me too long. I mean, we got, Aaron, he's got his own, English school that he teaches people to speak English in China. We're all, we just want to take our time and do it right. So we're trying to think of instead of going on Facebook every other day and say, hey, it's coming. Right. We've done just we shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Want to be that. Okay. We got something new coming out. We're going to drop a song. People will see the direction that it's going. And it's great, dude. I'm super, super fucking stoked about it. It literally, I think, makes the first album look like a candy store.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
That's fucking awesome, man. Definitely looking forward to that motherfucker.
Yeah, fucking. So, and I appreciate it, because I mean, you know me, and it's like it's definitely, I would say, a continuation of where it's a little opposite of Horrific Demise, where we were kind of trying to go all out at like 280, beats a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
A little more back to the basics of like, I mean, some people have even said it has a very much of the old school Lividity feel to it. You know what I mean? Which I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Cool. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no. But yeah, it's exciting. The boys are actually going to be here next week, so the whole band is jamming Wednesday.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's going to be, I think, very exciting when people hear it. It's definitely a step up.
That's cool. And Matt, you and I go back a long ways. Some of the listeners may not know, but back in the day when you were doing the Central Illinois Metal Fest, Low 12 got to play one of those for you. I remember we opened it up. You were like, dude, nobody wants to play first, and I know you guys will be all right. And so we were like, fuck yeah, we'll play first, so we did it. And then we went on and did that big Guar show at the Canopy Club, which was sick as hell.
That was probably, that Guar show was probably, I would say, the best Human Artifact show to date.
Yeah, that was sick, man. It was like sold out. Like, that was crazy. Definitely the biggest crowd we'd ever played to, I think. So that was awesome.
That was a good time.
But the Central Illinois Metal Fest, just let our listeners know what that was about and how long you were doing that for, Matt, and then any like real standout moments of it that you wanted to comment on.
I'm glad I don't do it now.
You look happier.
No, I don't mean it that way.
I know.
It would have been 10 years. There was one year that we actually took a year off. That was when I was actually having kids. So there was 1 year that we took a year off. But we did 9 years, and everybody got paid. Nobody really got hurt. I think there was a slough set. Someone got baked beans thrown on them. I think that was about the worst. If I could remember back, I don't think, we never really had a whole lot of problems. Everything seemed to work out. When you do something like that, I never really did it for money. You know what I mean? Never really did it to lose money either. You find out a lot. You definitely find out who your friends are and who aren't your friends,
right,
when doing something like that. But we had a good time, man. And it's like, and a lot of people don't realize, as much as the last year, Ian and the Canopy Club were trying to offer me cash to bring it back.
Oh, wow.
Like a salary, after COVID. And wow. I told, because I am advising the Chicago Domination Fest, and I'm working with Miguel a little bit and the crew. And this is when that was kind of coming around. And I was just like, I have a code. You know what I mean? I have honor. And it's like, I already think there's too many fests anyways. And plus, that wouldn't be anything that's going to help out the Full Terror Assault down south, which I really would hope eventually someday it would just blow up, is the only thing that's really close to what it's like in Europe.
Right.
And I think most Americans are just, man, you guys just don't get it. How fun that could be. Even myself, I would love to go down there and just have a good time. Just the problem is with life, it's just hard to get down there. But,
right,
dude, there's not a lot of shows like that, but we had a good run. Nobody got hurt. We had a good time, a lot of good bands. And
when did you start that?
2002.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it went all the way to 2012 was the last year.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
10 years, and, nothing to be ashamed of there for sure.
But the one thing that I'll always be remembered for, and I think everybody realizes that, and I'm proud of it very much, is the only person.
The
only person to make that happen. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't even tax me. Dude, they didn't even believe their own hype. They did. Like I said, very affordable. And they could have had, after that show, they could have went on and played bigger fests for twice the money. You know what I mean? And they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And there's not many people that can. That's underground right there, man. That's metal. You know what I mean? Not trying to do it for ego. They just wanted to do it and said, we did what we came to do, and that's it. So that's what I'll be remembered for, man, which I pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I know, Impetigo's, big in the underground circles, but, it is crazy because I moved here, so I'm not originally from this area, so I wasn't familiar with them because they were done before I think I even got here. But our guitarist, Tim, was like totally into them, so that's how I heard about them and didn't realize, that it was right in Bloomington, so that was kind of cool,
And they were bigger outside. I mean, dude, they were more of a national act. You know, that was like, I think one of the first bands that made me realize that there was something outside of Central Illinois.
Right.
You know what I mean? With your local band, your Alliance. Remember Alliance? Alliance back in the day. You don't remember Alliance back in the day?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember their guys? No one. Everyone called them Appliance.
That's hilarious.
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with it.
I remember Lividity when I was doing Malicious Intent and all that stuff. That before we came out, when Desecration was around, that was the band that was actually getting all the really good shows and all that stuff. And if you got for a lot, but you were making it. They're rocking Dream Theater covers and all types of shit. It was pretty funny.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was bad,
man. I'll tell you a couple quick memories of CIM for me. Fucking the very last one. That's the one where we had the fucking cops come and fucking draw their guns and throw us on the ground outside after the intestinal alien reflux because they saw somebody doing a line in one of the cars and shit, and they fucking blew it out of proportion. And this is like the first time I remember there were people out in front of the Campy Club with cameras videotaping it, and the cops were like, "Oh, they're filming us. Watch out!" And I'm like, "Man, watch out! What would you do if they weren't filming?" You know. But fucking, I'll never forget that a couple of homies, Brian Fork, Seth Flick, and the homie Michelle, they went to jail over that, but they came back the next day. I'll say. Yeah, and I will say about CIM, out of all the fests I've been to in my life, and I've been to a ton of them, CIM 2006, 2007, it's hard for me to pick one of those two, but those are my favorite fests that I've ever been to in my life. Those were fucking amazing. And I will say, too, that I can't remember, I think it was 2006. One of those years, if you look at the whole fucking lineup, there's not one international band. So you threw a fucking huge fest with all American groups. And that shit was huge. Like, fucking, there was no problems with fucking, you know, overseas shit, fucking flying or travel or fucking none of that. It was just all a bunch of American bands that fucking threw down this one fest that was huge. So,
well, and
props for that.
And back then, when you wanted to book a band that from overseas, you didn't have to do this whole work visas. You could, you could make sure they had the gear. They could just come over like they're going on vacation.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, and I get it. I mean, hey, if that's the way you want to go and whatever, I get it. It's just definitely something that's, I don't quite understand the whole, it's hard to get, those type of things. And like I said, it's just, I think just from a money perspective, it's a lot of money. Cause I used to feel guilty. Like, I'll give you an example of a band that got big that, no one heard of a band called Cerebral Bore until a young man named Paul McGuire said over and over. And Paul, if you're out there, buddy, you'll remember this. Cause dude, he's now like taking photographs and hanging out with Metallica.
Right.
Dude, they played that fest for free because I didn't have any money. He's like, "Oh, dude, we'll come over. We'll pay all our own expenses." It's like, dude, I didn't want him to do it because I felt guilty about it. And I'm like, hey, sure. And then you just see everything that's happened since then. So it's just like, we had a good time, bro. And to hear like the whole point of me doing it, just seeing that people like you, people that all of a sudden out of the blue say, "Hey, we had fun."
Yeah, we had a fan. The one Low 12 played. We had a fan get up on stage while there was a band from Mexico playing, and he pissed. He pissed in a cup and then drank it on stage. And that was special. That was awesome. Joey, that was Bird. So that's a big surprise.
Yeah, I do remember that. All right, Matt. So I'm going to bring you back even further than the CIMs. I had a question. I was curious. So coming up, even pre-Lividity and shit, were you pretty big in the tape trade game back in the day? And if you were, what were some of the cooler bands you associated with?
I'll be honest with you, man. It's when I met, it was Chris Noyes. When I met, Tyler, Rick, started, and it was like that was the Dave Kibler. Those were the people kind of, okay, wow, the ads. It was all about the ads at first that you would get in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it was all about, the whole point of doing it was you wanted to have a cool ad, just like, internal bleeding ads. So we wanted to have a cool ad like them. And then, you would get the word out and all that stuff. But it was just, and then you would just sit there every day waiting for the mail to show up to see if you got a letter back from somebody. And then when you get a letter, you're like, oh, and then you would do that back and forth. And it's changed so much, you know what I mean? But that's exciting about it for me. You know what I mean?
That was awesome shit. Yeah, I loved that growing up.
But I think I started, be honest with you, man, I started out with a lot of hair metal, man, before I even got really introduced to death metal. I mean, I knew your Black Sabbath, all that stuff. It was a lot of your fucking wingers, your bullshit. And then it's like, I was in the Slayer and Metallica, and I definitely can remember it was probably the very first garage days. It probably was like, wow, I could get into playing some brutal music. And then once, I think it was in Aaron Heath's bedroom where he was playing the Grand Leveler from Benediction, the first Deicide album, Slowly Rewritten, Cause of Death from Obituary.
Hell yeah.
Symphonies of Sickness from Carcass. That was where my head was like, dude, death metal. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, kind of fell by the wayside after that a little bit. So
that's cool. Now, the Chicago Domination Fest, we've already alluded to that, and you said that you're involved with that. How did that all come to be?
Well, I mean, Miguel used to work with me doing a lot of the ads for the later years of the CIM. This has always been a friend. I mean, he was doing shows, putting on his own little concerts that he was doing up in Chicago and some other fests with some other guys, so he always was trying to do his thing. And over the last few years, he'd, hey, what do you think on this? What do you think on that? And vice versa. I got a big mouth. I'll tell him what I think. And, man, it's just been, he asked if, me and Baxter and a few other people would come on. We're not, keep in mind, it's his festival. We're just strictly there just if he has some opinions that, he can trust, that's what we're there for.
Right.
And, and it's just wanting to see something good for brutal metal even though I don't live in Illinois, it's more for the Midwest. But, I'm still Illinois at heart. So we want to see something that's good for the Midwest. And it just seems like, it's, we got to get people excited. This is probably the best year that he's got things going on, man. I know the whole lineup. A lot of people don't. I do. It's very good. So pretty much starting next, March 10th, the lineup is going to get pretty stacked.
That's awesome. And speaking of March 10th, that's when this video and the audio will air, Matt. And you said you had some news for us?
Yes. So keep in mind on March 10th, we, the very first time in, pretty much with the new lineup, Human Artifacts will be confirmed for the Chicago Domination Festival, our first gig in 16 years.
Nice. Dude.
Oh, yeah. That's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
So we'll be playing some old songs and, maybe we'll be debuting some new songs. So we'll just have everybody out. Let's have to wait and see.
Very cool. Hell yeah. And then the Super Bowl, right? And then what you said?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's like I said, this band has been firing on all cylinders, and we owe a lot to that to Eric. Once Eric's joined the band, we've been in the band over a year and a half now, and it's just dude's a machine, man. So I'm excited for everybody to see the brutality that he throws down, man. So it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome.
I'm pretty excited. I fucking bought my 3-day pass today, as a matter of fact, the day we're recording this. So fucking CDF, y'all need to be out there. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, we're
speaking of fests now, I know that you've got to go to some pretty awesome places playing metal and fucking seen some big ass shows and shit. What's a standout to you that you'll never forget?
List Switzerland 2004. That was a one-off show that we played, and dude, to say that's the only time I ever felt like a rock star.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
They literally we stayed in you could just imagine right in the middle of this list was right in the middle of the Swiss Alps. We're staying full top floor, all the band ourselves, sitting at like a table getting fed,
Wow.
you know. And I can remember, I mean, we had like the whole first day was like a sold out show. The first day was just a sound check. And then the next day was the show.
Damn, that's fucking
Damn, that's pretty sweet.
And I can remember because, you know, I was quite the pot smoker back then. And I remember they came to Dave and all the guys and say, hey, I'm really worried about that singer. You know, he's been smoking the pure all day. Like, oh, that's Matt. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. You know, man. But yeah, that show was a blast, dude. The crowd would not let us get off stage. That we only had, I think, 18 or 19 songs, and we ended up playing like another 9 of them over again for a second time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was
cool.
that was probably, you know, that like you know, the 2003 tour with Mastic Scum and Master. I mean,
Yeah.
for good time too, man. You know, that was just, those are the type of memories that, you know, you just don't, you know. Yeah, haven't thought about that in a while, but that was a good time, man. So yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Paul Speckman was a lot of fun, and Master was a lot of fun to tour with, man. That's a legend, dude. He has a lot of good stories, dude. It was awesome.
That's cool. Now, I always like to ask this question, Matt, and I know you're a busy guy, but are there any bands that you're listening to, whether it be now or recently, that are bands that maybe our listeners might not know about? Some underground band that you're digging? Anything that jumps out at you?
To be honest with you, man, like the two bands that I've been listening to the most, which I don't know if I would say that they're the most underground bands, but they're not the most mainstream bands either in some ways. I'm really big into Skeletal Remains, man.
Oh, me too, dude.
Yeah.
I saw them live open for Left to Die in Madison. That was the last concert I think I've been to since COVID, and they kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal as hell.
Well, I told them a funny story when I interviewed them last weekend. I said I was watching a true crime documentary, and they mentioned that they had found some skeletal remains, and I was like, man, it's been a minute since I listened to Skeletal Remains, and I went on this like 3-week long tear. I mean, I've been listening to them like crazy, so it's kind of funny, but
yeah. And another band I've been super, super into is Blood Red Throne.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, it's there. I guess that my tastes of is, if I gotten older, my tastes are not. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still blast beats and double bass. You know what I mean? But I'm not against a little bit of different here and there. Right. You know what I mean? I kind of draw the line at the clean vocals still. I'm not super awesome with that, but you know what I mean? Too. Unless it's something like Steel Panther, then you can give me clean vocals all the you know, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, man.
You mentioned Winger earlier. Is that one of the ones you've been listening to lately? Their death metal album.
You got an album coming out, so you know, man, I have to check that one out, man.
I think the death metal version would be "She's Only 13" instead of 17. Is that what it'd be, Joey?
The porno grind version,
right?
Dude, a buddy of mine was asking, like, is this funny? And that just brings that into that segue. It's like the crazy shit I used to do in this day and age. You know, I couldn't do that anymore. I would have been canceled so fucking hard.
Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Dude, I don't even think I would have lasted 6 weeks. You know,
it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, so it's like, but yeah, I mean, you know, yeah. So there's so many good bands, dude.
I'll throw one to you. I've been sharing some ones I've been digging lately, but Immortal Possession from up there in Canada. Those guys are badass. We had interviewed them here recently. They're very good. And Deatherus is another good band from up in Canada, death metal band. Skeletal Remains brought them up when I had them on. So definitely killer. Yeah.
I mean, I would say, and this is going to be incredibly cliche, but I will give it where credit's due if they're watching. Yeah, they probably aren't. But, you know, man, Stabbing, dude.
Yeah, they're fucking huge.
They have come out of nowhere, and anybody that says it's because they got 2 girls in the band that are brutal, they can say what they want. Chick's got more brutal vocals than I do. Chick can play the bass better than I can. You know,
yeah, it's pretty badass.
give them the fucking I've not seen a band come on the scene like them since Skeletal Remains, or in Devin's band, signing to Century.
Yeah, signing with Sugarbug and Stabbing are both the bands that in the last couple of years have been like, holy fuck, I saw you go from ground zero to just fucking playing overseas now and everything,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I mean, Devin's open. I mean, they were fucking touring with Cannibal Corpse and Guar. Like, holy fuck, that's good for a brutal death metal band,
Yeah, and you notice how I let him pronounce the band name because I sure as hell wasn't.
Yeah, that's a good move. It took me a while to be able to say it.
I love you, bro, but everybody that has pronounced your band's name, I've heard, has pronounced it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first couple times you even mentioned it, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
Dude,
it's so whacked.
Give credit where credit's due, and man, I hit him up on Facebook Messenger, and I just sent him a little quiet message, and I just said, dude, thanks for doing what you're doing for brutal metal and on a major scale, and not being bitches about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're fans of any band or not. They're doing something positive for the brutal scene that is not just your cliche cookie cutter cheese metal.
Right.
And they're sticking to what they're doing it, and they're getting people are selling out shows, and they're, hey, all the respect to all these bands working hard, man. The one thing I will say about the scene, Pete, compared to when we got into it, these bands can play. Anybody can say what they want to say about a lot of, whether some bands sound like this. I say that there was the scene before Disgorge and the scene after Disgorge. But I think, man, what you're seeing now is, for a long time, we had every band sounding like a Disgorge clone almost. Now I think you're seeing a lot of bands starting to get their own niche, finding out this is what we're going to do here, this is what we're going to do there. And, like I said, there's a lot of good music out there, man. So, definitely. And there's more, like I said, these kids are crazy. They can play the instrument better than I can.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. So I got a question for you, Matt. I ask this on all the interviews I do, and it could be the hardest question of the fucking interview. We'll see.
Sure.
You're on a desert island. You get 3 albums that you can listen to for the rest of your life. What are those 3 albums?
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay, and these are going to be not probably expected from me. Okay.
Yeah, no, hell yeah.
Number 1 guarantee, Iron Maiden Live After Death.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. That's a good one.
I like that.
Great live album.
Bruce is probably the best front man known to man. Fucking, in my opinion. A lot of like what I would do, getting people hyped up Lividity and like what I do, I'm copying Bruce. You know what I mean? God damn, Rain and Blood.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Just because one right there realized that a band could be fast. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first
major label too.
When the double bass run kicked in on Angel of Death, that was the first time I realized, hey, I like double bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I would say, that's a tough one, man. And if I say probably after that, probably would be Cause of Death, just because that was what, from a guitar tone, that was what I judged how I wanted my guitar tone to be at that point.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That clarity with the super lowness, really full sounding, really crunchy. But yeah, those are probably the 3 albums, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I like that new Obituary too. That's fucking badass, the new one they can.
Yeah.
They keep reinventing themselves, man, a little there, man. And it's like Terry, Terry's a good guy, man. Them dudes are the most unego dudes, man. They deserve, when I was in Hideous, we played 2 shows with Gruesome. One of the biggest things that I remember about that gig was about how well they were at the gig. And then when I was tearing down after the show, it was the Tardy brothers helping me load my gear into the car.
Wow.
Fuck. I'll remember that for my
cool
fucking life. Not about hanging out with anybody. It's like the dude helped me put my cabinet in the fucking car.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they deserve every amount, whether you love them or hate them. The nice guys in this scene deserve every bit of success they're going to get.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that should mean something,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, though, Joey. Now, it looks like you've embraced technology there, Matt, for band practices and recording. And I know we were joking about this before we started recording, but what do you want to share? What have you been doing? Because you two of you are up there in Milwaukee and two are not. So how are you guys doing this?
Dude, we come up to rehearse like we do it old school, but I mean, I'm lucky enough that we don't need to pay for recording anymore. We have all the stuff that we do to record everything ourselves and be, equally as quality as anything out there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
To say that. But yeah, it still gets away from me. I mean, my biggest thing is kids wear your earplugs, because what I find the hardest is I don't hear very well. And it's like trying to sometimes get frequencies. Like if I'm looking here and I do this, I hear the difference.
Oh.
Turning my head. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got a nice home studio. I mean, technology has come so far. Like I said, sitting in front of my Kemper right now, which is my pride and joy. I love this fucking thing.
Yeah, I saw you posted something about that. What is a Kemper? What is that?
It's basically it's an effects pedal, basically a modeler.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Cool thing about it is like the way that the band is actually going to run. Aaron just recently got one, and the way the band runs is we actually run without the cab simulator and all that stuff on through cabinets to give it that front of the house feel. But then we run everything else with the cabinet simulators on, which would be our recording tone, through the PA speakers.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Through the front of the house. So when a lot of bands do that, they don't usually push the actual amp in the front, so that if you're standing right in the middle where the PA speakers are on this side, it seems really barren right here. No, all you're hearing is the drums and the bass. That's why you still want to have that real cabinet feel up front.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, to say that when me and Aaron, like I said, we're like kind of tone junkies, and we decided when we were going to redo this, we wanted to have the tone of our dreams. Like whatever we thought the Human Artifacts tone was going to be, and whatever guitar tone we wanted. And this Kemper's been able to make us get it. So
very cool.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So anybody's got $1,800 laying around, go for it.
Man, that's cool. So, man, you've been playing guitar for quite a while there, Matt, and I was curious for our gearheads out there, what guitar do you play now for Human Artifacts? And another question, is there a guitar that you've ever had from your past that you're upset that you still don't have?
Oh, dude. There was a Xiphus when the Xiphus first came out from Ibanez that was like, I think it was 26 frets, dude. And the reason that I got rid of it is because I was having some arm trouble at the time, and it was just so far to reach out to play it.
Yeah.
But I remember that guitar sounded really good. There was a King V that I had in 2000 with Lividity that I miss a whole lot. But right now, I'm a Schecter guy. So I've been using a Strat Schecter, but this past week was the first time that I'm actually using a Aero 401.
Oh,
which
nice.
Which is a V with a reverse headstock and the reverse shark fin.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
To say that, man, I'm a believer. And then everybody's playing an Aero, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But, man, that's like a really, really nice guitar, dude. So that's kind of where ESP is kind of where my head's at right now.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Matt, I got a question. I asked this in pretty much every interview I've done for quite some time, and it's probably the question you're never going to hear again. So this is an exclusive Murder Metal Mayhem thing. But if you had to pick one of the following to die in agony in a Human Artifacts mosh pit, would it be A, Justin Bieber, B, Kim Kardashian, or C, any member of Nickelback? And I'm going to throw that at you. And why? Why would you choose one of those three?
Well, first off, man, we call them the Biebs. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's the Biebs, man. We can, he's got enough problems with this facial paralysis as it is. Anybody can. I would say just because Nickelback actually plays the guitar, I'll leave them off I'll back.
Okay.
But dude, I just think the Kardashians, dude, have we not met like a more
despicable
drag?
Well, it's like Holt's got that shirt, "Kill the Kardashians." It always cracks me up when I see him wearing that, you know.
Well, it's like, let's just put it this way. It's like they're so crazy, dude. They made Bruce Jenner be Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I mean?
So you're going with Kim Kardashian. All right. That's cool.
Kim Kardashian. Cool.
Yeah, I interviewed Schizophrenia a few months back, and their singer said, "Do I have to pick one? Can it be all of them?" So that was kind of funny.
Well, dude, like I said, man, and it's not even that. It's just, it's, I'll even take it a step further. It's just social media. You know, social media, that whole like reality TV show, we can thank the real world for that.
Yeah, because that's true.
Yeah, no, that's for real.
MTV used to have Banger's Ball and play videos and all the whole bullshit. And then once the real world came out, it was just like, and it was because of that dude Puck. I blame you, Puck.
Well, Facebook took our Murder Metal Mayhem page down. The only thing we have is our group, and I can't even tag bands in the group. Yeah, it sucks. Bullshit. Yeah, they've got us on all these restrictions. So we went ahead and just came up with our own website, murdermetalmayhem.com, and people could go there and join our email list, and we stay in touch with people that way because we're just tired of having to be like at their beck and call, and they got us on a post from a year ago, but they won't even show us what the post is. So I don't even know what I said to get us banned, you know?
The funny thing is, if we all could go back to MySpace, don't you think we would?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like when MySpace used to have these awesome profiles where you would, and that was right around the time I was still in Lividity when we did the Used Abused album, and we had somebody who was like, man, super cool with covers, and you could have the MP3s right here, and people come, you have your show stuff going on, and it's like, I don't remember ever having to pay money for that. But then when Twitter and Facebook came out, and it was just like, I initially didn't even have one.
Right.
I still, and if I do, I don't know about it. But it's like, now you can't, they don't even want you to, I don't even know if nobody sees the post. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay to sponsor anything.
Right.
I want my band to be successful. I want to promote people, but I'm also not out to make other people rich who aren't any type of caring about what's going on to begin with.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, that sucks, dude. I've heard a lot of people are having those type of issues, or being railed and locked out of their accounts for 6 months because they're looking at posts. Like, they'll get off a 30-day, they'll come back and then get knocked out for a post they made 6 years prior.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what type of logic is that? And I thought adults are supposed to be able to, one, agree to disagree.
Right.
And two, that when you have a dialogue, and you don't always got to agree with everything everybody says. But the last thing you do, you don't just fucking say, I'll give you an example. It's like, I constantly on my Facebook feed am seeing animals being killed and pimples being popped. I don't look at either of those fucking things.
Right.
Fuck, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's your algorithm, right? It's like, why? Where'd you get that from?
That's what I'm
That's
saying,
hilarious.
Man. Yeah.
I'm watching animals die, and I'm watching pimples getting popped. Yeah. It's like,
what's fucked up?
It doesn't, man. So yeah, no. It's really weird. And I mean, that sucks like that. It's probably something, you ever think it's something to do with the murder in the title?
Yeah, well, we couldn't have murder in the title. It's Triple M Podcast on Facebook because they wouldn't let us put murder in the title of the URL. So yeah, but we've been on there we're going on 5 years of the podcast, and so it's like we've been talking about cannibals and everything else for. I don't understand what all of a sudden, but it is what it is. It's just dumb.
You shouldn't be like I said, if it's just how many type of my fiance loves the murder documentary. I can hear her in the room watching them right now.
Yeah, women love true crime. Yeah, they do.
It's just come on, it's called facts. It's called information. It shouldn't be the end of the world. If you don't agree with it, don't watch or don't listen.
Exactly.
All right, so My last question to you in the interview, Matt, is now that that's fucked up. You said you've been in Milwaukee 12 years. I can't believe it's been 12 years you've been up there. But
yeah.
Man, we're old as fuck. So now that you're up in Milwaukee, and plus you've been involved with a ton of shows and fests before and stuff, what are your thoughts on the rekindled Milwaukee Metal Fest?
I would say I want everyone to do good.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I mean, seriously. I mean, whether it's from your Anthraxes to your Lamb of Gods to your Megadeth, all the way down to fucking the bands we've never heard of or bands that haven't even started yet, or someone's or to like or someone like you. It's like I want you to do well. Whenever I see you get booked on a gig, I get fucking excited. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want everybody to do well. What I think a lot of the problem is that's it's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
And I understand. I mean, dude, I'm sure with the guarantee, I know what some of those bands make on the average of a festival appearance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I hope. I think my buddy Paul from Embalmer, I'll use his analogy. I will be all about it if it's not on the exact same weekend as the Maryland Death Fest next year.
Yeah, I agree with that big time.
You know, but if you're going to try to go head to head with another festival that one is established on that weekend, and then like I said, you know, and I'm not just kissing anybody's ass, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I want bands to book my band, but I'm also not going to beg anybody to book my band either. It's like I've been seeing, like, oh, book, you know, go spam the shit. It's like if they want to book me, great. If not, I'm not willing to pay for free.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a stacked lineup. I mean, nobody can say it is, but it's just like, is that something that I would be super excited about? I don't know.
Right,
you know,
I think it's good for the Midwest, though, you know, to bring some more bands in. You know, it's
there are more brutal bands like Deeds of Flesh, Malignancy, Defeated Sanity. There are more brutal bands than I expected.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Truthfully, you know what I mean? And I think, you know, anybody that's doing something for metal, you know, but I also know that anything that's good for the scene, there's an oversaturation of festivals. There is, you know what I mean? But doesn't mean that, you know, but there's more of an oversaturation of people not getting out of their phones or their computers and actually getting out into the real world.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying that I want this, but then they never go. And I've been guilty of that myself. Sit there and say that I'm as I've gotten older, I find it's harder to get out, but I think and with COVID, it's definitely made it more difficult because, you know, you got some people, whatever side of the spectrum you're on, whether, you know, you want to, you believe in it or you don't, it's like nobody wants to get sick either way.
Right.
Of course.
It's just, so it's tough. And I think there's so many opportunities out there. There's a lot of tours out there right now. And your average person doesn't have the money to go see everything.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
And look at it, like at Milwaukee, I mean, you're looking at $800 before you have any hotels, any food.
Yeah.
I mean, type of fun or merchandise. I mean, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But, you know, you got your 70,000 tons of metal and some of these other shows, they're equally as expensive also. So how can you really blame them for their high ticket price? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know, man. I mean, I just want everybody to do good. And I think the moral of the story is everybody should be there for each other, whether you like the band or not. It's like, there's a lot of bands that I think suck, but I think they're good people that are in the band, so I'll support them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know, and I would rather support that over a band that's the most talented in the world that are a bunch of fucking cocksuckers.
Right.
Without
a doubt. Without a doubt. Good point.
And there's a lot of them motherfuckers out there.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. Now, Matt, we've covered a lot of stuff here, and, you know, I wanted to give you a chance. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to bring up? Anyway, I mean, I know you guys are on Facebook, right? Is there any other social media that you're on?
Yeah, we have, like I said, we're about ready over the next 2 or 3 months to really kind of relaunch the band. Really, like I said, this isn't like what I would call a reunion. This is kind of like a relaunch of the band.
Right.
This is we wanted to do with this band in 2006 when we started it after I was no longer in Lividity. Now we're starting it over. We're taking care of business, and we want to have a good time doing it and do it for all the right reasons, which is having fun, creating music with our friends. People like it, great. You don't, whatever. But I think people are going to see, especially after these first live shows of these albums, are people are excited. So, we got a lot of good stuff. And I have remastered and remixed a little bit the first album, which will be showing a little bit later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which that's going to be something that, I'm pretty excited about because I've been spending about the last 2 months, and I think it definitely sounds 100 million times better than the debut. So it's going to be good, man. We got a lot of good shit coming, but I just want good for everybody. Everybody there for each other, and I appreciate being able to talk to you guys because I don't ever talk to anybody, so I thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for doing this, Matt. We appreciate it. I mean, I know all three of us, go back a ways, so I think it's great to be able to get together, like you said, and chat amongst some metalheads and talk about metal and what we love about it. And we're going to close this out by playing a remix that you sent me, Matt, of the Human Artifacts song Maimed and Disfigured. Definitely not going to be on a Disney soundtrack anytime soon. Anything you wanted to mention about that particular song, Matt? I mean, anything, motivation?
It was very exciting to revisit the album because, like I said, owning my own studio now, it's like, there was always some things when you record something you just didn't want to, you think you want to do differently. Right. And I think when people hear this, if you have the first, it definitely is an improvement, but for all the right reasons. Brighter guitars, more leveled. Like in Maimed and Disfigured, there's a really kick-ass sample in the middle of it. That sample's been raised. It was too low in the original mix. Now the sample's louder.
Right.
Nice.
It hits.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, but it's just fun. It made, to me, the first album a little more listenable because there was a few things with, whenever you record something, you want to do it better. Right. But yeah, people enjoy it, man. And I appreciate all you guys being there and supporting us. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. And you're welcome back here anytime. Let us know what's going on with you guys, and best of luck to everybody.
Fuck yeah, man. Thank you, man. You guys have a really good rest of your weekend. Thank you.
You too.
Peace.
Slide a finger down the crack of that ass.